Welcome back to Lepodcast episode 28. As always, you're here with Hoop, Saney, and the infamous ZZ Huncho. As you can tell, my voice has gotten a little lower, and no, it's not because I have more hair on my chest. It's because I'm a little under the weather. But the Knicks won last night, and we take on the 6-9 Warriors tomorrow night. So I had to be here to speak the truth of Julius Randle. Flu game hoop!
Oh my god.
I'm on it! The Knicks are 8-7. We could push the Warriors to 6-10. Imagine that. Imagine. So
Just
this is
imagine.
not an, you know.
And then imagine our next episode.
I'm here.
This is
I'm
the
about
first
it.
time. This is the first time I can say that no matter what the outcome of this game is, the Knicks will still have a better record than the Golden State Warriors. That's a
what
round
I'm
of applause.
saying.
That's a round of
That's what
applause.
I'm
That's
saying.
already a dub right there. I'll give you that.
But if we want to
Hoop,
get
I know
into...
that this is such a monumental moment for you being a Knicks fan. I love that. You're 8-7, right?
Yes.
8-7?
Yeah. we're 8-7.
So what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen tomorrow? Tell me what you think's gonna happen tomorrow, just so we can go back to it and see if you're right. Is
I know
King Julius gonna-
Julius Randle and RJ Barrett are both sick. Assuming they play, I think the Knicks will beat the Golden State Warriors in Golden State.
I also think that because Julius Randle is going to be matched up against Draymond Green, who has been a step slow all season defensively. So it's not a crazy thing to say.
The Nuggets the Nuggets did not have Aaron Gordon last night, and Julius went crazy on their backup. So if he takes advantage, I like our odds. So
100%.
my faith is in the orange and blue, baby.
Hey, listen, to all the Lepodcast listeners out there, if you are listening to this episode before the Knicks Warriors game, real quick before we start the episode, I will give you the Saney take guarantee that you should put all your money on the fact that Klay Thompson will not shoot over 50% in this upcoming game. Thank you. Let's get started on the episode.
Can you give them background information on that?
Klay Thompson has yet to score 50% or shoot over 50% in an NBA game in the 2022-2023 season, and I made sure to let my good friend, my good pal, ZZ Huncho know that all night last night, and I didn't get one response from him because you don't want to know why? I know I hurt him a little in the hurt.
He didn't hurt me. I was already hurt from the Warriors' loss, and you want to know what I did? This is the crazy part. So let me let y'all in on a little secret. This is how the podcast kind of gets down, right? The three of us, right? We got a group chat, okay? So we're following the season like every damn day, okay? So Saney's gonna give us the Thunder report every night. If not the Thunder report, then the Shea report, right? Hoop usually stays kind of quiet on New York. He kind of does for some weird reason. I don't know why.
I've been around for long enough to know that if I talk early, it's gonna backfire.
He knows that the moment that his hopes go all the way up, they will come crashing down like he went to King's Dominion or Busch Gardens or Six Flags. It's just gonna be bad, okay? And then there's me, right? Then there's me, Warriors fan. Saney's gonna, I kid you not, right? The Warriors lost last night. As soon as the game ended, not even 10 to 12 seconds after, I get a text in the chat from Sadie, and I'm just like, literally, I have my AirPods in, so Siri's like, new message from Lepodcast, and it's like, I'm like, it's Saney. Saney says, I literally went to my phone, I unpinned Lepodcast from the top of my messages so that I could hide every single alert from all of them for the rest of the night.
And you know,
and by all of them, I mean Saney.
You know what's crazy is when Saney wants to say a lot, he won't write a paragraph. He'll write like 3 words at a time, no matter how long it is that he wants to speak for. If you're on YouTube, you can see Z's phone. It will be like 20 messages at a time. I'll be like, Z, new message. Klay Thompson sucks. New message. Hasn't shot 50%. Message. On this entire new message. Year. New message. Like, it's just ding,
Literally.
ding. But Z, I mean, if we could go into yourself, dog. I mean, the Warriors fans are always going to get. They're public enemy number 1.
I love the slander. I love the slander.
I like it too. It makes it more entertaining. So
it makes it more entertaining.
I love reading that stuff.
I'm just reflecting the pain I got last year because you guys know I went through the most last year. But I mean, let's get into it. Hoop, if you want to say the lineup, and then I'll start off with the.
Well, just really quick, we wanted to speak on Kevin Durant during our introduction. We already knew he was not a good leader. Saney, as an OKC fan, knows that firsthand. He came out and said to the media, look at our starting lineup. Edmund Sumner, Royce O'Neal, Joe Harris, Nick Claxton, and me. It's not disrespect, but what are you expecting from this group? Durant asked, you expect us to win because I'm out there? So if you're watching from that lens, you're expecting us to play well because number 7 is out there. I don't know what's worse. Calling out your teammates when some of them have been playing better than they're supposed to, or referring to yourself as number 7. What's worse? For team chemistry. I'm not saying KD's a bad person, but for team chemistry issues, that is awful.
I think obviously the worst thing for team chemistry is what he said about his teammates. I think him calling himself number 7 is really egotistical. Like, yeah, when number 7's on the court, you better watch out. Like, bro.
Okay, like 10 people are watching you in Brooklyn. Like, come on, dog.
Like, yeah, come on. Like, bro, man. I don't know. Like you said, Hoop, firsthand, I've noticed, like, if you're a Thunder fan, if you're an actual Thunder fan, like, you've actually, like, kept up with the Thunder for however many years, and Kevin Durant was there at the time, you know from the get-go Kevin Durant is not a leader. He is the farthest thing from a leader, and I think that's always the thing that separated him from LeBron James, is that no matter how skillful and how talented Kevin Durant was, he could never take himself to that next level, because a big reason, or a big indicator of you being that star-studded player, the number 1 player in the league, is winning basketball. And you can't win basketball games if your team isn't playing well beside you. And if you're not a hype man, if you're not a leader, if you're not a guy that can bring your guys up with you, that's not going to happen. Obviously, Kevin Durant, one of the most talent-wise best players in the NBA of all time, but he can never be the number 1 option in the locker room. Not saying he can't be the number 1 option on the court. That's a different thing. He is the number 1 option in the locker room right now in Brooklyn, and that is a very bad thing, because in Oklahoma, he was the number 1 option in the locker room. Look what happened. In Brooklyn, he's the number 1 option in the locker room. Look what's happening. But in Golden State, guess what he was? He was like the 4th option in the locker room. Bro, nobody went to Kevin Durant when they needed
Draymond,
anything. It was Draymond,
Steph,
and then Steph,
yeah,
and then Clay. I would have taken Clay as a leader over Kevin
Durant.
Durant.
Kerr, too. Steve Kerr.
Bro, Sean Livingston had more of a say. Andre Iguodala had more of a say than Kevin Durant did
yeah.
in that locker room. I'm not saying this
For
as a
sure.
troll. I'm not saying this as a troll. They genuinely had more of a say in the locker room than Kevin Durant did, and that's why Kevin Durant did so well on Golden State. Yes, obviously the talent is there, but look at the Brooklyn Nets. They had James Harden, Kyrie Irving, and Kevin Durant on the court at the same time. There is no reason that they shouldn't have and yes, okay, they were injured that one year, whatever, but still, as a team, they can never pull it together, and when anything went wrong, look what happened.
And you know
when
what it
any
is,
little
too?
thing went wrong.
Looking back at the Durant, Harden, Irving pairing, you would assume that out of the 3, James Harden would be the best leader, because he, with the Rockets, even like they could have won a finals. Obviously, Chris Paul was a great leader the year he was there, but for the most part, I'm assuming it was Harden in the locker room, maybe like with PJ Tucker. But when you're with Kevin Durant, I don't think Durant is okay with his former 6th man like leading him. You know, so and this is just a complete speculation. But I think when you're with Kevin Durant, it's tough to be a leader when you're not as good as him, because it's an intimidation factor. Oh, he's Kevin Durant. I'm going to tell him what to do, which is why having Patrick Beverley is such a good thing for your team. He was definitely a vocal leader with Harden, now that I think about it. But I think it's just like you need someone to overcome that intimidation and understand what the team needs and be the leader. But with Kevin Durant, I'm assuming that's super hard. And the other thing I want to say is I know Charles Barkley came out and said that Ja Morant, the one thing he's missing is making his teammates better. And people were upset with that because, you know, you can't tell if he's making his teammates better. Not all of this is passing. It could be in the locker room. He seems like a great hype man. I don't think you can diagnose if someone is excellent at making his teammates better, but you could tell if they're bad. Kevin Durant, we know, is bad based on his body language. With Ja Morant, he's the ultimate hype man. You'd assume he's a great leader. You can't say it for certain because you're not in there, but you could tell when they're bad, and KD's bad.
Who did you say said that?
Charles Barkley.
I completely disagree with that statement.
I disagree too.
Disagree with that statement.
Ja Morant,
Bro,
he seems
Ja
like a
Morant
great
is a
leader.
dog. Ja Morant is
Yes.
a dog. Kevin Durant has never shown himself to be like a dog to the media where he's like constantly backing his guys up. If anything, he was caught using a burner account going at his guys. Ja Morant is the type of guy that literally...
He's Desmond Bane's biggest fan. Desmond Bane's biggest fan.
Bro, he gave him his MIP trophy. Like, that is the type of player you want on your team. And not only that, like, bro, Ja Morant is the type of guy... I have never seen a man lose a series and instantly go to Twitter and say, I'll see you on Christmas. that is the type of energy you
Right.
need from your leader, where it's like, you know what, we lost, we're coming back. Let's go. Let's run it back. Let's run
John
it. Like,
Morant,
let's do it.
John Morant lost. He lost that series to the Warriors, and then after the Warriors won the championship, he's already beefing with Draymond on Twitter, ready for the next game of the next season, and it's 4 months in advance. But Grizzly Nation, they're probably hype as hell because they're looking forward to it. They're sitting there like, oh, we lost in 6, but we know we got your number. We know y'all know we're coming. All these different things. That's the difference between Ja and KD. My thing with KD is simple. Okay. Over the course, since Kevin Durant got to Brooklyn, let's be honest. Okay, since Kevin Durant's gotten to Brooklyn, there have been moments where like I feel like half of the NBA fan base has like really been rooting for him. That moment specifically was the Milwaukee series where we were like, okay, it's all up to Kevin. And he gave us as best of a performance as he can give us, right? But back to y'all's points of who the leader was on those teams. You got KD, you got Kyrie, and you got James Harden. So what you're essentially having is a guy with a burner account, a guy who believes the earth is flat, and James Harden, who probably could skip a game for a strip club night. We don't know. But all we know is we got these 3 guys and no defense. We got all shooters, but no defense, right? And so I was talking to you guys before the show, and Hoop said that, I think it was Hoop, I don't know if it was Hoop or Sandy, but one of y'all said that you didn't know if you could really credit the acquisition of James Harden to Brooklyn, specifically on KD. You could say that he green-lighted it, right? So okay, we can say that, right? KD green-lighted that trade, right? So why do we think that Harden wanted out of Brooklyn? And it didn't even take a whole year, I feel like. Why did James Harden want out of Brooklyn? Why do y'all think he wanted out of Brooklyn? Because to me, I think it's because when Harden was on the way there, it was okay, who's gonna have the ball less? Who's gonna have the ball the least amount? Harden, to a lot of people's surprise, not mine, because he's a facilitator, went out there and did his thing. He was out there looking for players. He was looking to get guys involved. He was trying to get Claxton involved, trying to make him an alley-oop threat, things like that. So for sure it was James Harden. Kevin Durant's biggest problem to me since he's been in OKC, and I don't think he was the locker room leader of that team at all, because we saw when he left what Russell Westbrook did with that team and how everybody got around Russ. And we've never heard anybody say Russ is a terrible teammate. Never. But I guarantee you this, in 15, 20 years, I'm not going to be surprised if a lot of KD's teammates over the course of the last few years are going to come out and say that, hey, they weren't really a fan of him. Why? It has nothing to do with him, the individual talent. It's statements like this. How the hell do you go to the media and list off your entire starting 5, but then have the gall to say no disrespect? What? When I saw the no disrespect, I was like, Kevin, no. You're not just randomly naming off Sumner and Claxton and Joe Harris, and then not only do you do that, but then you end it by saying it's just number 7 out there. That's all y'all see. What?
No, yeah,
what?
I mean, we could honestly, if we stay on this Kevin Durant thing, we can make a whole episode out of it, and like his wrongdoings and a career of messing up as a leader. But I mean, I feel like we should move on, because I think it's just common knowledge at this point that Kevin Durant is top 10 talent-wise best players the NBA's ever seen and top 10 worst leaders the NBA's ever seen. I would argue top 3 worst leader, and you would have to give me 2 other guys for me to not say he's number 1. Because let's be honest, like the position Kevin Durant's in, he has had multiple chances on multiple teams to be a leader. He's just never done that.
DeMarcus Cousins.
Mm-hmm.
DeMarcus Cousins was never like, but there's a difference. Was DeMarcus Cousins in the media naming off Darren Collison, talking about that's why we're not winning? Like, I don't think he was.
All right,
this is getting ridiculous, man. This is getting ridiculous. It's really ridiculous.
If you want to give off the lineup real quick, and then I'll start with the.
Oh yeah, okay. So today's lineup, we have the headlines, which Saney is hosting for today. We have Who is Who, which is dissecting what NBA players are reminiscent of other NBA players. We previewed it last episode with the heated, is Jordan Poole the next Steph Curry debate? Obviously he's not. And lastly, we have the Menace draft. We mentioned it a while ago. The goal is going to be 3-on-3 teams. Not like who's going to win in a fight. We're not going to tell them it's a fight. But in the end, like the scorecard's going to come down to like how many bodies are on the ground. So who is left standing? We're telling them we're playing an actual basketball game. But by the
we're playing a
They don't know they're fighting yet.
Yeah, no.
They're coming into
right.
Survivor
They
Series.
don't know they're
WWE
fighting
style.
each other, but each one of them is going in with the intention to fight someone. But they just don't
Right,
know that's
right,
everybody's
right.
mindset. Like it's gonna be like that Spider-Man meme where they like point at each other.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
that's what it's gonna be on the court. But
You here to beat ass too? Word. All right, come on.
they don't even. Nobody actually ends up bringing a ball because like they just
What
pull
you
up.
doing here, homie?
They just okay. Anyway, but for the headlines, this one's gonna be a short one, just because I don't really want to discuss this much because we spent a lot of time on the Kevin Durant stuff. But I thought it was pretty funny to say. Lamar Odom. If you don't know Lamar Odom, obviously very well known for his role in Keeping Up with the Kardashians.
Candyman.
No, obviously, Lamar Odom, a Lakers legend, has come out to say he was talking about the Lakers' woes, and he had a solution for the Lakers. He said that if you trade LeBron James from the Lakers, now I'm not disagreeing with him up until this point, they become contenders. They go back to being in contention if you trade LeBron James. Now, if he just wanted to say, if I'm the Lakers, I trade LeBron, I trade AD, I rebuild. Okay, yeah, that's a fair statement. They're 3-10. But to say that LeBron James is the reason they're held back from contention is one of the most wild things I've heard this season. And I feel like not enough people are talking about it. But if you guys want to give your 2 cents on it real quick before we move on.
Well, I mean, LeBron has not played well this season, but usually you get LeBron to be in contention. I don't think AD is ready to, lead that team if he gets a bunch of new pieces. He is not the person to bring all this together. I don't know what Darvin Ham is up to, but if he were to bring this team together in a Will Hardy way, the way the Jazz did it, except it would have to be more extreme because the Jazz are, they're falling off thanks to the Knicks. It's really hard to just grab 3 or 4 new people and play them significant minutes in the middle of the season and expect them to mesh. It's if you're trading LeBron, let's say to one of my destinations I thought could work is Phoenix, and you get back McHale, Cam Johnson.
They would 100% include Jay Crowder because he's still on that roster. He's not playing.
That's that on paper. That's a cool team. I think you'd start Russ again, and then AD would be, kind of still there. It would be a 1-2, and you just let Russ run rampant. But that's still, it takes a while to get ready, get used to the new teammates. It's not going to work.
And getting
Lamar
used to
was
it starting
crazy.
3-10 is like the worst
Yeah,
starting
it's-
point.
In this West.
Yeah, it's the worst idea.
Yeah, right. I don't really see a move being made. And if I'm the new guy coming in for the Los Angeles Lakers, and my agent calls me and he's like, "Hey, you and 4 other people just got traded to LA." I would be like, "Oh, word." And we're 3-10. My agent would say yes. And I would be like, so me and these 3 other people alongside Anthony Davis and that angry box turtle are supposed to change this entire franchise around right now. I would be so upset. I would be so upset. And it's funny to me that LeBron James got here in 2019. AD came, and then Russ came, and now the topic of this, as Sandy is holding up that damn action figure, the topic of discussion is now trading LeBron James. That's to me, that's just so wild. But I could see it. I could see every trade, LeBron, AD, Russ, I could see it. But it's just now we're here, and it's who are we going to trade out of the big 3? LaGreatness, A Day-to-Day, or Russell Westbrook? That's what's on the chopping block right now. It's insane. I can't even wrap my head around this.
My thing with it, before we end off this discussion, last thing I'll say, I just can't ever see LeBron James being included in a trade. I don't think that's possible. Imagine LeBron James has been traded. That just doesn't sound right. But also, I noticed Hoop was taking a sip from a cup, which made me think, Christian, if you're listening to this, Lepodcast water bottles. All right, but we want to move on.
Lepodcast water bottles.
You got to get a sticker on Z's mug or his wine glass.
For sure.
Gotta rep it. Our next segment is Who is Who. I explained it before, but I'm going to name you guys a player, and you have to tell me who this player reminds you of. It can be multiple players. You could say this player is the next James Harden. You could say he's a mix of Harden and Steph Curry. It could be a mix of 3 players. It could be all-time players. This guy is the next Bill Russell. But be mindful of your word choice, or else, one of us will have to step in.
Or else you're going on TikTok. That's it. That's all that's going to happen.
So the first player, Jordan Poole, ZZ Huncho.
Who does Jordan Poole remind me of?
Yes.
That's the question?
That is the question.
Who does Jordan Poole remind me of? Wow. I see a mix. In this mix is Steph Curry for sure. Shooting confidence through the roof. 30-footers, 40-footers, half-court shots, all that. Coming off ball screens, all that. Give me a mix of little Steph. Now, his dribbling package, I'm going to be honest with y'all. I haven't seen a lot of people carry as much as Jordan Poole does. So I would say like somebody from like the And One mixtape 30 for 30, one of them, maybe. I don't know. JP has like some really light skinned handles for some reason, but whatever. And low key, he does have a little bit sneaky bounce, little bit. He just shows it in random spurts. So I don't really know who he is like bounce wise. I don't really know. I guess Jordan Poole. And if I could just figure out his handles. Let me Sandy, I want you to go. I'm gonna try to look up some people right here.
You guys are going to hate me.
Real quick.
You guys are going to hate me for what I'm about to say. Just remember, I'm on the spot here. We're doing this on the spot, me and Z. Jordan Poole. When I think of Jordan Poole, what do I think of? I think of this swaggy guy who has all the confidence in the world. Like when I watch him play, he's not necessarily like the best guy to have on a court. Let's be honest. Like he had a streaky run last season. I love it. This season, Z, you can vouch. You know what I mean? Like, it's like very on and off. He's a very on and off player. One of the most inconsistent, swaggy guys I've seen. But when he's on, he's on. But when he's off, it's like, you know what I mean? Tell me, and with the confidence and the swagger he plays with, that man is J.R. Smith. That man is
I was
J.R. Smith.
literally going to say the same thing when it was my turn. I think he's a modern day J.R. Smith.
Modern day J.R. Smith. That's what I when I look at Jordan Poole, that's what I think of. And that's why when he said Steph Curry, I was like, you know what? If you want to say shooting confidence because of Steph, it's like, bro, no. Like, there's a difference between having shooting confidence like Steph and having shooting confidence like a guy like JR, who like, I still want them to shoot the ball because I trust the ball in their hands.
I see what you're saying.
But I think I would compare him to J.R. Smith. He's a modern day J.R. Smith.
Yeah, so at first I had, like, in terms of the actual play style, his handles obviously are more aggressive and he uses his bag more often than Bradley Beal, but I do think he has a similar way that he shifts his body. He could, he can change directions very fast. I think that's reminiscent of Bradley Beal. And I do think he has shooting confidence because of Steph. And in terms of the range and the way he pulls up into his shot, we watch his Steph do it all the time. So I'll say Steph Curry, but I do think J.R. Smith is a great comparison. I'd say probably, I love prime J.R., but probably, more rationally confident, except at times, you do see the shooting, like the slips.
But I do think that J.R. Smith would be just as, if not more confident shooting the ball if he was playing on that Warriors team too. Like I think his confidence,
he'd be pulling from half.
More confident.
He'd be pulling from half.
That's the thing. That's why I say I think he's the J.R. Smith because
as a raw player, I don't know if he'd have that same confidence. That's my issue. But I totally see what you're saying. Like if he wasn't on the Warriors.
Yeah, like if he had here's the thing. Like if Jordan Poole was on a separate team other than the Warriors, I don't think he would fall off in terms of his confidence shooting the ball, obviously. But I think him being on the Warriors is a reason to why he's so confident. Remember when Jordan Poole first got in the league when he didn't have time to play with Steph because Steph was injured? That man was booty. Like, let's be honest. He wasn't confident.
Booty butt cheeks.
He had
booty butt cheeks.
You could tell it was there. You could tell there was something there. Had no confidence, though. And I think Steph is a big reason to that. Imagine you gave J.R. Smith Steph. Oh, my God. Steph's getting double Henny every time, bro. Henny swish every time. It's raps. Oh my God, that would be.
J.R. Smith would literally become the most beloved Warrior player. I feel like because imagine Henny Smith winning chips with the Warriors. He'd be shirtless every single parade, shirtless and drunk.
And what's crazy is the nights that he would have more crazy shooting nights than he did, because he'd be more willing to pull. It would be like, oh, Steph goes off one night and JR goes for 60 the other. Like that's what it would be. But moving on. Our next player is Benjamin Simmons. Saney. At this point in time.
At this point in time, Ben Simmons is 2016 Josh Smith.
Josh Smith would pull that thing, though.
That's true, but I'm talking in terms of like, why are you on this team anymore?
That
Like,
is true.
let's think about Josh Smith was like when Josh Smith, especially when he was first coming into the league, when he was on Atlanta, like he was seen as an all-star. Like he was like, yeah, this that guy. And then he went to Detroit, and it was like, okay, he's not that guy. Like that's what I mean. Like I don't know. Like in terms of, I genuinely have never seen anybody like Ben Simmons in terms of play style. Like in terms of like who he is, like who I would compare him to, who I would compare that vibe I get from him.
So what about draft prospect Ben Simmons?
Draft prospect Ben Simmons.
This is totally different.
Okay, that's fair.
Who are you projecting him to be?
If I'm being honest, draft prospect Ben Simmons is what we all wanted Michael Beasley to be. I think like not Michael Beasley as a player, but what we thought Michael Beasley would be.
So he's comparable to the Michael Beasley draft prospect.
Yeah, like that 4. Listen, but the thing is, he had more playmaking ability, I guess. But that electrifying 4, that's fast. That can. Ben Simmons used to be able to shoot, by the way, in high school. I don't know what happened shooting wise. I really, to this day, that's like one of the biggest mysteries. I don't know what happened there.
Him and Markel, bro.
Yeah, and guess what? They both went to the 76ers. Philly. Yeah, it has to be the 76ers. It has to do with something.
Trust the process.
It has to do with the process. I swear. I think I think that's something people should look more into.
I took away Ben's shooting ability one night.
No.
Philly's
gonna win it.
Like,
he was all a part of my plan.
Joel Embiid sacrificed their shooting ability so that he could have an MVP case for 3 years.
No.
That was the process. They got sacrificed in the process. That's what happened.
I don't know. Like,
it's
like, I remember Ben Simmons' draft comparisons was like Lamar Odom, and like people talked about him being LeBron because the playmaking and his like size to be able to run at that speed, that pace. I don't know. Ben Simmons is a really unique case, though. Ben Simmons is really unique.
Lamar Odom isn't that bad for his position wise. I guess is why they said it, right? Lamar being a 4 and being able to
just a 4 that's like just a 4 that could somewhat handle the ball and like make it a different scoring wise and still be like defensively there, I guess. I don't know what the reasoning was. I just saw that's the name I saw. I didn't look into, because remember when I told you I was looking into Ben Simmons? We had the argument about Ben Simmons. I was looking into his draft reports because I made a video on Ben Simmons the other day. And I was a little shook when I saw it, to be honest. But again, like, and I've looked into Ben Simmons. It's a very unique case for Ben. That's why Ben was so hyped coming in too, because it was like we haven't really seen anything like this yet. That style of at that size. I guess Josh Smith, like a guy that fell off. Like I can't really, like a random 4 that fell off out of nowhere. That's the only thing I can think of.
And didn't Josh Smith get that big ass contract and then just failed from Detroit? Yeah. So when I look at Ben Simmons, I can't really, because like you said, there's 2 different versions. There's the draft prospect and what we got right now, which is barely a player. But I don't know. Like Sandy said, Ben Simmons is literally a unicorn. I have not seen anything like Ben Simmons, to the point where he came into the league with like half a jumper and now he doesn't have one at all. The playmaking is like, okay, the playmaking is still great, but when you can't shoot and when defenses aren't expecting you to shoot, it's like, who are you, Draymond Green? Like, I don't know, bro. I can't figure this out. I genuinely can't. It's like when Ben Simmons has the ball, they're going to back up. They're going to back off the 3-point line. If he drives, it's like, okay, he might attempt, or he's probably looking for to kick it out somewhere. His defense is still exceptional. Still the best defender on his team. So like, yeah, like a light-skinned Draymond Green with a worse jump shot. I'll say that.
With Karl Anthony Towns mindset.
Yeah, with a cat mindset.
And before we move on, I heard you say the name or the term unicorn. I have a couple other players we could do, but I think it would be really fun to name off other unicorns in the league off the top of our heads.
Porzingis.
Yeah.
There's no one else like KP at all. I know like KP obviously had the nickname, but who is like a legit unicorn that no one else is like? Because now I think there's a couple people who you could say have a reminiscent of KP. He was the first.
He was the first. I would say Jaren Jackson definitely showed some reminiscence of like. I'm trying to think. You're definitely thinking of a low-key guy that no one's talking about, so I'm really digging deep in my brain right now.
Well, who is Shea like?
Shea?
Shea is
Shea is like
different.
Shea is like a big Allen Iverson in terms
Uh,
of his bag. In terms of his ability to handle the ball and get to the paint, like he has
it
the
just
most
looks
finishes.
so
I mean-
different, though. I guess it's
Sure,
not bad.
Sure, but I guess shooting-wise, Shea is much, much better than Allen Iverson. I'm just thinking in terms of getting to the rim as a guard, like that style of like swaggy, like
Okay.
you know what I mean?
Have we ever seen a player like Kyle Anderson?
That's a good one.
Think of somebody that's
He's one
slow
of-
as
there's
absolute
no
dirt.
one who moves that slow. There's
Bro.
no one else who moves that slow.
Kyle
Sam
Anderson
Decker?
is my favorite.
I can't think. I have to think of some like random players that I've only seen play like in 2 games, so I can't even judge them
Sam
accordingly.
Decker.
All right, so let's keep thinking about that. But I have another player, Desmond Bane.
He's like a thicker Klay Thompson.
Oh wow.
I think he's a better version of Eric Gordon.
That's what I should have said. That is such a good. Oh,
Right?
man, that's
Yeah.
a good one.
That's
That is
a
a
good
good one. They have the same frame too. That's what I meant by
Yes,
thicker Klay Thompson. Like he's
yes.
just like a more built.
And
that's a
volume,
good one.
could take it off the
That's
dribble.
a good one. Yeah. But like
Built
Klay
like a
Thompson, like
thumb.
he is like a bigger, like he's just like a wider Klay Thompson. What do you say? What do you say?
I said he's built like a thumb, but that's the strongest thumb I've ever seen. That's the strongest thumb I've ever seen. That thumb got a clip and defense to go along with it. That's crazy. That's a 3-and-D thumb right there, chilling in Memphis. That's what I like to see right there. That's what I like to see. Desmond Bane, bro. Like you said, Eric Gordon was perfect. Eric Gordon was perfect. And literally, I couldn't.
Eric Gordon is a really good comparison, actually.
Desmond Bane is a 3-and-D thumb. That's
Exactly.
crazy.
Hey, that's not a slack. That's not a slack. That's the best damn thumb I've ever seen on the court before in my life. Bro's literally built like a mini SUV, but like for kids, like the ones for toddlers.
Desmond
sorry.
Bane is a 3-and-D thumb.
Desmond,
That's a
please come on the
crazy 2K
podcast,
build.
please. Yeah, but he worked in 2K. He's
alright.
deadly in 2K too.
The last one, or I have 2 more. I was gonna say Shea, but we already did that with AI. Anthony Edwards.
I would compare Ant. That's a good one. I'm thinking of a couple of guys. I would compare Ant to Zach LaVine.
That's not bad. That's not bad at all. That's actually pretty damn
Zach
good.
LaVine. Yeah.
I think at this point that's probably a good comparison. I've made a video on Ant before showing his upside, and I said his upside is similar to James Harden and Dwayne Wade.
I don't think James Harden. I can't see James Harden.
He's
because
a volume. The only issue is I know there's more volume 3-point shooters right now. I don't know how many other guys in the league take more threes than Ant right now per game. He takes a lot of threes.
In
He
terms of
does.
yeah, I get, but I was thinking more of like their play style and the way they move and how they get.
I've
to the rim
seen
and
him
stuff.
use that tween size up. I don't know how few and far between it is, but it's interesting because he's built much differently.
I can understand it in terms of like yeah, he'll like him and Harden, for example, like you said, like they'll do the tween stuff, but there's a difference between a Harden tween and like
Exactly,
you know what I
yeah.
mean.
That's
Like
like
that's what in terms
A
of if I were to
knockoff
just say out
Harden
loud,
and Wade.
if I could tell you, Harden got to the rim by tween got to the rim, and then I could say the same thing about Anthony Edwards. It sounds the same. They're doing the same thing, so I could see your
completely
point there.
different, yeah.
But if you watch it, it's completely different. So that's why I would say
Harden's-
more like a Zach LaVine, like a very like bouncy, like jump out of the court type of guy that can also pull up and still give you 30 a night. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
He did go crazy last night, by the way. I swear they need to get rid of Cat and D'Lo. Please let this man cook.
Both Cat
He's
and D'Lo.
ruining-
Damn.
Dude, I don't like Cat. We've gone over it. He just clogs it up. Stealing
Hey,
this
that's
man's
fair.
touches. He's ruining my Ant narrative. He's not taking the jump this year. There's no room for him to grow. He's literally he's scoring less than last year.
Hey,
Man, he cannot turn into a what if. But segment 3, the Menace draft. If you want to lead us into that.
so ladies and gentlemen, we are now going to introduce our Menace draft. And as Sandy touched on earlier on in the show, we're not necessarily looking to get 3 guys that can go out there and, combine for like 100 points. We're looking for 3 guys that can go out there and combine for 100 KOs, including everybody that came to attend the game, including the referees and most families. We're looking for guys that are just going to throw all caution to the wind and their opponent's jaws. So, to kick off the draft, I believe I have the first pick, right?
That's correct.
Right. So, to kick off the draft, and you're going to see how this goes. I don't know who has the second pick. Is it Hoop?
Yeah.
And then
that's
say,
me.
okay. So to kick off for my squad, for my Menace squad, we would like to draft the one and only Worm himself, Dennis Rodman.
So just to clarify, first off, that's a nice pick. But the goal of this is they're going to fight, but they don't know they're going to fight. So there's a difference between picking Steven Adams, because he's
Right.
not going there with fighting intentions. You want someone who is going to start a fight when they're playing basketball. Like, it's on their mind to start a fight. So this isn't guys, they could fight. It's like, no, they want to fight. And for me, I'm going Bill Lambier.
I was
That's
literally,
a
he's
good
on my
pick.
list.
That's
He's
a
the
good
first one.
pick.
Like, they made a game over him, bro. They made a game over him. Then the Bill Lambier's combat basketball. I was literally ready for that, bro. I was
Bill
literally
Laimbeer was
about
l-
to take him, man.
Bill Lambier was 5th on my list, but I understand why you took him. That's a great pick. That is a great pick.
You guys are here. My picks aren't the. When I was doing this, I was thinking, you know what? I could go, what's trendy. I could go what's viral. I could go what player has clout. But I was thinking to myself, I was like, you know what? It's the low key guys that be doing the dirty work, because they be getting booted out the league from how dirty they are. And that's why with my first pick, I'm taking Reggie Evans. I'm
Word?
taking Reggie
Gosh.
Evans.
Word?
This is the same man that beefed with Chris Kaman and grabbed his nuts, like squeezed his nuts in a game because he was so mad at him. Like, they got so mad at each other, he grabbed his junk. I swear to God. And
How do you
that's
do that in
the guy-
anger?
Reggie
do you do that
Evans,
in
if you
anger?
look at him, you'll be like, bro, Reggie Evans, bro, I'm telling you, if you look at him, you'll be like, you know what? I would not mess with that guy. Played
me
on the
look up-
Clippers.
Now
Let me
that I'm
look up
thinking
Reggie
about it,
Evans
taking
right now.
guys that are out the league is a great idea. Isn't what's his
It
name?
is.
OJ Mayo, like, gone? For
Yeah, but
whatever?
that's
Yeah.
because he
But
did.
that was for
drugs.
weed.
Oh.
No, that was for the other stuff. We're not gonna say
Oh.
it.
I know there was some guy who was domestic.
No, there's a lot of guys that are out the
Yeah.
league for some menace activities. I'm
Also,
taking the
are
guy
we-
who's grabbing your wiener if you start beef with him. So
Yo!
hey, tell me you wouldn't
Pause.
like bro. Imagine you're about to fight someone.
Tell
who
me
just
I wouldn't what?
squeezes your wiener. He just squeezes your wiener. You're probably there like.
What would,
Oh my god.
is this a snake draft? Is this a snake draft? Is this a snake draft?
It's my pick.
It's a snake trap. No, it's my pick
Um,
again because I go back to
yeah.
back.
Oh,
Right?
I'm sorry. You don't deserve that pick though after what you just did.
No, but I didn't mean it in like, bro. You know what I meant? Like, oh, I'm done. Like, bro, like that guy beat me.
Just all right, go.
All right, with my second pick, I'm gonna go with See, I wanted to take a Malice in the Palace player because them boys is different, and I was like, you know what? I am gonna take a Malice in the Palace player, and ironically so, I'm taking Meta World Peace. I'm taking Meta World Peace. He gave Harden a hole in his head. He got suspended a whole season for fighting a fan. He's not only going to fight the people on the court, he's fighting the people recording, yelling World Star, World Star. He's fighting everybody. I need that energy. So, yeah, give me Meta.
So there's one player that I have as a sleeper. I really want him on my team, but I am convinced that you guys are going to overlook him, so I'm going to save it. I want Kevin Garnett. Kevin Garnett and Bill Lambier is cold. They both want smoke.
I like that. And it's inspired me because I had a guy that I was going to save and just see how far he falls, right? But now I'm looking at it, I'm like, I got Dennis Rodman already. So give me Draymond Green. Sandy was just talking about how Reggie Evans was grabbing nuts. I got a guy that'll kick you right in them. I got a guy that'll punch you in your face. I got a guy that'll punch Dennis Rodman in the face. I want my team to not even like each other. I want Dennis and Draymond to be fighting too.
A kick to the nuts hurts. A squeeze to the nuts both hurt and your dignity gets ripped away.
That is true, though. That is true.
I would be appalled if Reggie Evans did that to me. If Reggie Evans ever touched my no square, I would literally be appalled. I would pull a Gilbert Arenas.
Yo, you would
see me in the locker room. See me in the locker room.
Is that your next pick? Gee, you got a snake.
Nah. I'm not picking Gilbert. Nah.
Yeah, there's no outside equipment.
Yeah, nah. You can't do that. Nah.
Yeah, hopefully this isn't on YouTube Kids again.
Jesus Christ. Okay.
Coco Melon. Who's Gilbert Arenas?
Oh my God. Stop.
All right, see, go for it.
Okay. So I got Dennis. I got Draymond. I need one more, and this is where it gets tough. It gets really, really tough. But you know what? I think I need a guy who I know is not afraid to just be a menace. This individual that I'm about to pick spit on a little girl courtside. We also talked about him a couple of episodes ago. It's Charles Barkley. Yay! Big Chuck. Everybody want to be like Chuck until he spits on your kid. That's all I'm saying. But we need him. We need Chuck, Dennis Rodman, and Draymond Screen. That's it. That's what we got. Can we have a coach? Can we pick a coach? We need a menacing coach.
That's a nasty power forward lineup, not going to lie.
We're not looking for offense. We're looking for defense.
No, yeah, I agree. So I have Bill Laimbeer, Kevin Garnett. I have the trash talk / willpower to get into a fight. I am convinced that a fight will be initiated. Now, this does not open me up to go for Steven Adams or someone that's just going to be strong, because that's not in the spirit of the game. You want to have guys that are all willing to fight. This guy might be a little bit quieter than Kevin Garnett, but he was a part of the Portland Jailblazers and is known as the Junkyard Dog. Give me Zach Randolph.
I like that pick.
You guys are not going to know who this is.
Pick.
You guys are not going to know who this is, and you're not going to truly understand how good this pick is until you look up the video.
No, I definitely know who it is now, because I know who it is.
Give me Kermit Washington.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kermit
I know.
Washington
I ain't even got to look it up.
Left a man on the court, bleeding on the ground, knocked out.
We all did the same research.
He knocked him so hard he was on the court sleeping with blood everywhere. I need that because you know what? I have, like Hoop said, I just need a finisher now. I need somebody who could give that last blow, and who better than Kermit? Kermit. Imagine going home and telling your mom, "Yeah, we lost the game because Kermit knocked me out."
I was considering Maurice Lucas, the dude who squared up with Kareem. Was it? Did he square with Kareem? It was like Duke's out and ready to go. But yeah, I wanted to keep it.
I had to do Kermit. Like I said, I got to do the low keys.
If Saney has Kermit Washington, then I want my coach to be Rudy Tomjanovich. That's what I want, because he knocked out Rudy Tomjanovich. Rudy's gonna pull back up with Dennis, Draymond, and Charles Barkley to get his spin back. He won all of that.
If we were gonna go with coaches, though, I feel like Pop is a dirty coach. Like, I feel like he'd be down with it.
No, I would choose Pat Riley. I'm taking Pat Riley.
Right? Yeah. Okay, that's a good one.
Oh yeah,
I'll take Chuck Daly.
The '90s Knicks.
Yeah,
they had a bunch of menaces.
I'll take Chuck Daly.
I'm taking Chuck Daly's a good one.
Pop would definitely scheme up some good combos.
No, I feel like Pop. Yeah. Pop would do like some plays where like Draymond Green will run around the perimeter and then Dennis Rodman will go.
Yeah, so when he goes for a layup, I want you to grab his nuts.
Oh man, bro. I think here's the thing. any of our teams win based on the situation. Like there is no loser or winner. I feel like.
Let me see though, because all right, so Rodman, Green, and
Just leave it up to the fans. Who do you think is going to be the last
Lambeer.
team standing?
I think I have the dirtiest player in Lambeer.
You do.
And then I just have other muscle.
Lambeer is known as the dirtiest player though because he was dirty to Jordan. You know,
Man, Larry
if you
Bird-
look at the video, I don't know who else was doing that, man.
He literally socked Larry Bird in the face when he got a rebound. Like, just because he got a rebound.
Sure. Yeah, you know what? Yeah. Bill Lambeer was him. I'm not saying he wasn't. He was definitely him.
Bill Lambeer said, and I quote, "Somebody has to wear the black hat." That's what Bill Lambeer said back here in the 80s. He was like, "I don't care if it's me." I'm like, bro, what?
Name off the other teams, who?
So mine's Lambeer, Garnett, Zach Randolph. Z has Dennis Rodman, Draymond Green, Charles Barkley, and Saney has Reggie Evans, Metta World Peace, and Kermit Washington.
Metta
If we
World
were in
Peace
the
might-
ring, I think Saney might take us because Kermit was.
Facts.
Kermit was him.
If
Kermit
we were in
was
the
him.
ring, if we were in the
If
ring,
we were in the ring, and you mean to tell me that I'm Draymond or Chuck, and I'm looking at Kermit Washington and Metta World Peace, the man who changed his name to Metta World Peace and still left a dent in James Harden's head because he felt like it.
And there's just a guy walking around doing this, getting ready to squeeze your balls. Like, I'm telling you, I put some thought into my team. Like, I made sure I picked some menaces.
what's that
Yeah,
thing
bro.
called? The forearm grip. The one where you squeeze it makes your forearm.
Oh,
huge.
yeah, I know what you're talking about.
He's warming up on the sidelines.
His veins are
Bruh.
just popping out of his arm. He's just like ready.
Bro, Reggie Evans is for sure sponsored by Manscaped. No.
Oh, man.
With a discount code Squeeze Your Nuts. That's the discount code. Squeeze Your Nuts. For 10% off.
Yeah, I gotta make my guys wear some cups.
Oh.
Gonna fly.
No, but he's so strong that he breaks through the cup. He's like shatters it. Because you got to remember, we're using old time players. They're wearing the wood ones. They're not wearing the new high tech carbon fiber whatever.
They wore wood cups.
Yeah, bro. You think they had carbon fiber, nice plastic, whatever cups back then? They wore wood cups. Like they would have a person sculpt out the shape of their wiener, and I'm joking.
I was about to say, ain't no
That's at the
way.
episode.
We need to end this show.
NSFW episode of the podcast. We said the word wiener. Our apologies. This was a great episode. I had fun.
This was hilarious.
I had a lot of fun. I don't even feel like I'm sick right now.
It's up to you,
Yeah.
the viewers, to decide whose team will be the biggest menace. Honestly, from what Saney's been saying, he might win it. Because I can't think of anybody else like who's squeezing dudes nuts just to get under their skin. No
Get
pun
off
intended, but
that,
still.
man.
Bro, and the thing is, when you're distracted, Metta World Peace, you know what I mean? Like,
And then if
we're
you're
there,
still
bro.
distracted,
You know?
Kevin
Kermit
Garnett
Washington.
calls out your mother.
Boom.
No, but here's the thing: Kevin Garnett is the dog. He barracks, bro. But any one of those guys take him in a fight. You know what I mean?
KG?
You telling me KG squaring up with Kermit Washington, bro?
Prime KG? He was just smart
Hey.
enough not to do it.
KG, I feel
That's
like
not crazy. I think any of them. That's what I'm saying. Any of our players.
Well,
can win
even
in a
if he
fight.
can't, that's why I got Zebo. So
imagine if
the
Kevin
bully's
Garnett like
bully.
starts off. If Kevin Garnett's starting off the game and he's like guarding like Charles Barkley, he'll bring back that Honey Nut Cheerio line. But he'll be like, Charles sweating over there, sweating Krispy Kreme donuts and half a Honey Nut Cheerios over there. And Charles would definitely
really?
like spit on him.
no, he definitely
really?
tried to lick his
really?
skin to get the donuts.
Yeah.
All right, we're ending this
Bald ass
episode.
head.
Thank you for joining episode 28 of the podcast. We'll see you for 29. Peace.